Hey friends! So we just want to give you a little bit of a heads up that this week's episode was filmed a few weeks ago, but we wanted to make sure that we had some new content for you guys as we get ready for our full comeback next week. We will have an episode with all three of us next week on November 13th, and we're super excited to be back with you guys. But for now, please enjoy this episode with me and Alyssa, and we can't wait to catch up with you guys.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. You're with the Fab Fatties. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Ally.
And I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca.
Oh, that's probably much more.
I'm a Rebecca.
Rebecca. My name is Rebuka. We're kidding. Rebecca's not here with us this week. We were missing Ally last week. No Rebecca this week. The Fab Fatties got a lot of things happening.
There will be there's an episode in the middle with all three of us.
Oh shoot, there is.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Hell yeah, it's okay. We're in a time warp.
We are.
Let's do the time warp.
We are in a little bit of a time warp. You want to tell everyone why we're in a little bit of a time warp?
I don't even know at this point. I don't even know. What is going on with our lives? You guys, we are still playing around with the lighting in our new studio here. So Alyssa and I really think that we truly ate
Today.
Today. I am starting to wonder if it's too much or maybe it's not enough or who knows. So I would like to know right now, this very second, as you're watching this, comment down below. Lighting, great. Lighting, too much. Who knows? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5.
On just the two of us?
On just the two of us. So
well,
I need you guys to know that.
Yeah.
We're tech wizards. I need you guys to know that as well. We set up the lights, we set up the mics, and we did it all without the supervision of Rebecca. So.
I know! That's kind of the most impressive part. Hell yeah, homie.
I mean, Rebecca, please be so proud of us right now.
Rebecca's going to be editing this being like, what a bunch of dummies. Listen, the Fab Fatties have had a lot going on. I know we caught you up a little bit last week. Ally was in the hospital. She's back. She's better than ever, baby. But don't you worry, because Alyssa ended up in urgent care this week. Bitch turned 30 and I threw out my back.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding, but I'm also not kidding. I'm literally in my pajamas right now. It is so painful to bend over, to sit up, to stand, to walk, to move. I went to urgent care yesterday and it looks like I upset a disc in my back. No one knows how. It's not like I lifted something or hurt myself doing something. I literally woke up.
What was Billy doing?
No, I swear. I swear.
Yo.
I swear.
This girl gets wild, so.
No, stop. I'm embarrassed.
Oh, stop.
I'm blushing. I'm blushing. Hey everyone, did you know that the Fab Fatties are on Patreon? Yes, we are, and you can follow us for more behind-the-scenes chaos. We have bloopers, we have Ally raging, we have, me climbing out windows. I don't know, we just have a bunch of crazy stuff over there. Yeah, so you can find us on Patreon. That's P-A-T-R-E-O-N.
EON.com/the Fab Fatties.
P-A-T-E.
No.
P-A-T-R-E-O-N.
That's what I said. .com/the Fab Fatties.
And we will see you over there. Yeah, I hurt my back really bad. And I took a muscle relaxer and it's still not really helping. So I'm a little sad right now. I have an ice pack that I'm sitting on behind me, so we're hoping.
Here's hoping, everybody.
We're pushing. Rebecca's got some fun stuff going on in her personal life this weekend with some other friends. We're not jealous.
No, she does. Rebecca has one of her very best friend's weddings this weekend. So congratulations, Rachel.
Woohoo!
We're super excited for you. And yeah, so Alyssa and I just decided that we were just going to have our little
shoot the shit.
We're going to shoot the shit. We're going to shoot the shit with you guys. I kind of realized lately that I've put so much pressure on myself, and I've put a lot of pressure on this podcast too. And by this podcast, I do also mean Alyssa and Rebecca, that I just want it to be I want it to be so perfect. I want it to be so amazing and so this and so that. And it's just I've gotten to this point where like I keep telling you, right? Specifically you, Alyssa, that I'm like every time that you're like, "Oh, what do you think about this edit or what do you think about this caption?" I'm just like, "Alyssa, it's not that serious. Just post it.
Yeah.
Just post the caption, post the picture, post it. Like just it's okay. It's not that serious." And then yet I'm like, "But did we do the research for this? Do we have all the notes for this? Do we have this? Do we have this?" And it's just like, "You know what? It's not that serious.
Yeah.
It's not that serious." And I don't mean that in a way, and I know I don't have to, explain this to you, but like for our listeners, for our viewers, I don't mean that in a way of like, this isn't that serious to me. Like this podcast means everything to me.
Yeah.
This is my life, right? But what I mean is that when I look back on like some of my favorite episodes, it really is just when we're being ourselves, when we're
Yeah.
being fat friends, doing fat friend shit, and just, making other fat babes feel less alone.
100%.
You know?
And let's give everyone right now just credit because the world is on fire. I mean, Western North Carolina is gone.
Devastated.
Is gone. It literally disappeared overnight. You know? Florida is I just the world is in chaos.
And somehow all of that has also become political.
Yes.
Which is insane. Like
Yeah.
the absolute devastation, and yet that's also
Yeah.
become political. Like, you want to know why we don't have makeup on today and we have pajamas on? Because we can't fucking handle it anymore, you guys. We're fucking tired.
Yeah.
Like, but you're
Well,
right.
I think it's just like priorities. You know, at some
Yeah.
point, like it's all so overwhelming. I know at work, like, and I know CLT's been doing it too, CLT plus, excuse me, but like it's just been donations.
Yeah.
I've been helping out with so many donations at work. We're loading up the bus, getting bus drivers, like trying to just support getting it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And yet we are privileged enough that we're not directly affected by what happened. But yeah, we needed to take some space to say, you know what, Rebecca can't be here this week. And me and Ally haven't had a chance to catch up. And this is what this episode is going to be, is me and Ally literally catching up with each other. So,
And we're not going to call it It's Just Not That Serious, because unfortunately we are going to talk about some heavy things, I feel like, but
yeah.
I feel like we could call it Just Not That Serious, because that's how we feel right now, is that there are so many other things. And like you said, we were talking about this the other night of just, devastating hurricanes, a literal election that feels like it's between good and evil, you know, a full year of watching our tax dollars go to a genocide. And I'm like, our podcast can be what our podcast is.
Yeah. I said to you last night, I think anything that's important to you, right? We put a lot of pressure on. We want it to be successful. We want it to mean something to someone like it means to us. And all of that can be true. And we can give ourselves grace right now because it's just everywhere you turn. It's just everywhere you turn.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And I think that's like part of what I'm lying in right now is like, we talk a lot about coping and like coping mechanisms and like, are you coping? Are you taking care of yourself? Or are you just coping? Right. And I think I'm also lying in like, I'm doing a lot of ruminating, which is, just one of those fun buzzwords you learn, when you get diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. But I just live in these like, these moments, I live in these moments, these thoughts, and I can get stuck in these very negative places, and I'll wind up like trying to figure out like how to save the world,
Yeah.
or at least my own little corner of it, however I can. And like, then I get to this point where it's like, well, I can't control this, I can't control this, I can't control this. You know what I can control? My eating habits. So let's talk about that, Alyssa. Let's talk about that. So I wanted to talk to you about this the other day, and I kind of chickened out. because it was weird. It was like you, me, and Rebecca were here. What were we doing? That we were all three here the other day. I guess we were recording.
Yeah, might have been our last recording day.
Yeah. Okay,
Because
so
we didn't meet up on this Monday. No, we
No,
met up
we
on
didn't.
Tuesday, though.
Yeah.
Virtually. No.
no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We canceled.
We were supposed. Oh my God, poor Alyssa, you guys. So literally, we had to move. We had to move our weekly meeting. So we have like a weekly like podcast planning meeting every week, and we had to move our weekly meeting this week because both Rebecca and Alyssa had something going on during our regular meeting time, and so we had to move it this week, and we moved it to Tuesday morning, and like literally probably 20, 30 minutes before our meeting, me and Rebecca both got in the group chat, and we were like,
Yeah, no thank you.
no, can we just not today? We're just not. We're struggling. All right. Like, just life is lifing. Okay. Life is lifing. People are peopling. And we were just like, yeah, can we just phone it in? Here's the to-do list for this week. Love you all so much. Bye. Maybe like an hour later, which was, again, so this was like 30 minutes before the meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes
that was
after the
supposed to
meeting
be
would have
into
started.
the meeting.
Poor Alyssa. She jumps into the text message and she's like, oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was sleeping. She wasn't feeling well. And so literally, like, it's been all of our turns to not feel well. She wasn't feeling well. So she was sleeping. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, girl, scroll up first. Scroll up. She's like, okay.
I panicked. I woke up and I was like, oh my God, they moved it to this morning for me. I feel so bad. Oh my God, I felt so bad. I woke up in such a
That is so funny because that's Alyssa's like MO with the group chat is like
catch up later.
Jump in now, catch up later. So it's so funny because it's like sometimes it would benefit you to catch up first.
Catch up now.
Right? So that she knows she doesn't have to have a heart attack, right? But like it's so funny because of me, I'm the exact opposite. Like I gotta know everything that happened before I respond. And you're just like, no, guess what happened to me 3 seconds ago? 20 minutes ago. What, Allie?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So it's like it's so funny because like we'll have had me and Rebecca will have had like a full on conversation. Like we will have gone through an entire dissertation, right?
Yeah. No,
And
literally.
then maybe 3 hours later, you'll just get 11 notifications like Alyssa liked this, Alyssa laughed at this, Alyssa loved this, and then she's like, oh my God, you guys, crazy.
No, it really is. That's what it is.
It's honestly, it's entertainment. It's entertainment for me.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Okay, but the other day you wanted to talk about
Damn
this.
it. All right. That was quite a tangent. Okay. So the other day, it was the three of us were here, and for some reason, I did not want to talk to Rebecca about it.
Okay.
And I realized that Rebecca's going to see this. Hi, Rebecca. I realized that Rebecca's going to see this. But for some reason, I just was like, I feel like I need to just talk to Alyssa about this. And I don't know what was in my head about it, but it was just something like I just really wanted, I don't know, not your advice or your, I don't know. It was just something that I like in my gut. I was like, I want to talk to Alyssa.
Okay.
And it was like, I think Rebecca had like gone to, like, she needed to make a call, or maybe she was in the bathroom or something. I don't know. But I was like, maybe I could just go tell Alyssa really quick that I want to talk to her about this. And I just didn't do it. Like chickened out about it. So I'm doing it now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So here we are. Okay. So yesterday,
Okay.
I had a photo shoot, right?
You did.
I had another photo shoot with our sponsor, with our sponsor, Snow Country Outerwear. Thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast. I'm sorry, I keep kicking.
Yeah, Allie keeps trying to play footsies with me off camera.
Sorry, guys.
Gosh.
Anyway, our wonderful sponsor, Snow Country Outerwear. I went and did another shoot with them yesterday, and I wound up getting super sick during the shoot, and it was weird because like I have been experiencing some weird health stuff like ever since the hospital. I had to get on some new medication, and I've been experiencing some low blood pressure stuff, and like I've been getting dizzy and whatnot. And I was thinking that that's what it was. Like during the shoot, I started to get very dizzy. I was getting like overheated, and I got very nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let me just run to the bathroom and like try to just like
cool down,
like just take a minute, whatever. And so took a minute, came back out, thought I was fine, powered through another few minutes, and I was like, oh God, no. And then so like ran back to the bathroom, and then all 40 ounces of water that I had chugged because I was so fucking hot, just, yeah. But the thing is, it was just water because I literally, the day before that, um, my mom had made like a few days ago, it was Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. I promise I'm getting to the point. It was the Jewish New Year. She made matzo ball soup, and it's amazing. And I had that because I wasn't feeling great, and I was like, I just want some soup. And so I ate some soup for lunch on
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. And then I went to my photo shoot Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like an intentional I'm 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 trying to figure out what it is. I'm trying to figure out what it is
Yeah.
of because I'm doing this a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing this a lot of where I justify to myself like, well, I ate this meal at this time, so it's fine if I don't eat now. I know. And I don't mean to say I know, like so I guess what I'm looking for in this conversation is every time that you have the inclination to go, I want to know what that is.
Yeah, I don't wish upon my worst enemy to spend time in these behaviors. I think the second they come up, you just need to treat them seriously, and not because you are at the same place that I was.
Sure.
Right? Like I don't want to I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, right? Like all of those
Absolutely.
things, but I just don't want it to ever become where I was because it doesn't get better. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't get better the more you have the behavior. So I specifically had that reaction that time because literally this week my conversation with Taryn, my dietitian, was what are we doing with food, you know, because
Yeah.
for a while I haven't been talking about food. I've been doing a lot of emotional stuff, and I told her, I was like, Taryn, I'm just so tired of talking about the same stuff. I know I haven't made progress with some of the stuff we're talking about, but we gotta switch it up. And she was like, I've been waiting for this conversation. Like, she's like, I've been waiting for you to be like, let's do something.
Yeah.
So I made a promise to her this week on Thursday. It is now Friday. I have not started yet. I'm going to start, I promise, tomorrow morning. But I promised her that I'm going to start setting I have alarms that go off on my phone, you know, that like tell me when it's time for me to eat my meal. Those I don't really follow.
I know.
So so I made her a promise that when I finish eating, I'm going to set an alarm on my phone for 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Okay.
Because I cannot go more than 4 hours without eating.
Okay.
That's when the low blood sugar. The one thing I said to Taryn over and over again is I just don't want to feel like shit anymore.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, well then you're gonna have to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to. And maybe that's what I need to keep saying to myself over and over and over again right now is like, okay, I'm not hungry, but I don't want to feel like shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like shit. And I really believe that in my heart right now.
Yeah.
I have been happy.
Yeah.
And have been doing a lot that's been filling up my cup and making me happy. And it doesn't feel good when we go out and do something and I come home and I'm completely depleted of everything.
Yeah.
You know? So I want it to, so not to digress, but to add to that specific once was like, oh, I know, because I love to play the game of, oh, well, I ate. So like, I'm good. I'm not actually hungry.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait until I feel like shit before I, you know, wait maybe another 2 hours and then make myself eat something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and like, I'm even thinking about, so yesterday, like, I mean, I told you guys, like,
Yeah.
I had already done something stupid by not eating prior to knowing that I was going to be doing this photo shoot. So on my feet for 3 hours straight.
Yep.
in
In
outerwear.
outerwear.
In outerwear.
With
Like,
no
in
air
ski-
conditioning.
In ski, like not just like raincoats. Like this is
No,
ski
middle of
wear.
winter.
Yeah. In a studio, an art studio that doesn't have any air conditioning.
Just fans.
It's a great space though, by the way. But it's a great space and just fans, and I naturally run hot. So all of that. And so I told you guys that I just grabbed I grabbed a cheeseburger on the way home. I was like, I'm just gonna eat a cheeseburger. And then I was like,
Did you get sick again?
I didn't get sick again.
Okay. Because I'm like, you are setting yourself up to get sick again.
I know. But they did actually Haley uh who works at Snow Country Outerwear. She's incredible. She had actually gone out during the shoot and she had gotten some Gatorade. She got like some almonds and stuff. I drank some Gatorade. I had a few almonds, ate a cheeseburger on the way home. And then maybe like 4 o'clock yesterday, I ate chicken salad and some potato chips.
Mm.
And then I was like, that's dinner.
Mm.
And I'm still like, but I rationalized that to myself. I'm like, it was 4 o'clock. So that was
Yeah.
dinner, And but like, I think for me too, like, it's been very eye opening for me to have you question my meal sometimes. Because sometimes I'll be like, well, I ate. And you're like, well, what'd you eat? And I'm like, well, I had this and this. And you're like, that's not a meal.
Yeah.
And like, and it's like I've learned through you not always following, what you're supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
Like, it's not that I'm learning. This is going to sound bad. I'm not learning how to have an eating disorder. I'm learning that I'm thinking that I may have some of those behaviors already. And lately, I think I've been falling back on some of those behaviors, and it's been very bad since I left the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talked about this, and this is hard for me to talk about, guys, but the hospital is really hard for me.
Take a minute.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk for you for a second.
thank you.
It's okay, because I think it's amazing that you are even going here. But it was really difficult for Ally in the hospital with all of the medical terminology and doctor's notes readily available and accessible, because they write things that are hurtful and things that aren't necessarily even talked about. And then they just put it in your portal for you to have access to, and it's not necessarily helpful to anyone. And it's very different when you're going to an urgent care or a hospital, because it's not your normal doctor who you have a relationship with, who knows certain triggers and certain things, and you were already not feeling good. You are not feeling good. So we've talked about this, right? 100% you have disordered eating, right? Literally almost everyone has disordered eating.
Oh my
That
God,
is
yeah.
an easy thing to say across the board, right? And I'm also not surprised, and nor do I think you should be, that urges are coming up after something so difficult in the hospital.
Okay.
Let's paint that picture. You're literally in a hospital bed, having to stay overnight. You physically feel horrible. You're not in your safe space. You're not with your safe people, right? And then people are saying things about your body that are not necessarily true to your lived experience. That would be a great A recipe for me to be like, all of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I think if we look at that situation, that makes complete sense to me. And I don't think there's anything to stress about. I think it's great to be aware of what's happening. I think it's great to challenge what's happening, talk through what's happening. I get concerned more so if you started having thoughts of like, well, I want to look really good at the shoot. on Thursday. So I'm going to restrict everything I eat because of this.
It's not thoughts like that. I think it's thoughts of, it's again going back to that like ruminating.
Yeah.
It's constantly having those negative voices in my head
Mm-hmm.
of thinking like, well, you wouldn't be in the hospital if you weren't fat, right? I have kidney issues. I've had kidney issues my whole entire life, right? And I say that and like there was another video that came out about us last week or like the week before that, whatever. And like this guy is literally like, oh, well, you know, just don't listen to these people talk about you like that. That's really sad that you listen to these people. Like, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for one person. It's a lot for three people. Like,
Well, how are you supposed to feel when the people who are supposed to be taking care of you are actually hurting you?
yeah, right. So that's the thing. Is like, so the doctors already make me feel like shit, and then like people on the internet make me feel like shit. So it's like, yeah, I'm sorry that. Actually, no, I'm not. I have a fucking mental illness that and I'm not blaming it on that, but like, yes, I think about negative shit a lot, and I literally I do everything that I can to find the positives
Mm-hmm.
in as much as I can, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I literally like I was texting with James yesterday, and I like literally I hadn't felt good. I threw up on set. Like, it was a weird day, right? And he's like, "How are you feeling, baby?" And I'm like, well, you know, I'm still feeling a little this and a little this, but you know, it's a really nice day outside and I'm texting with my favorite guy, so I can't complain too much. You know, like I do try and find the positives, and like I don't know
Yeah.
who I'm trying to prove that to, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think about this shit and I think about how like no matter how many times I can say, you know, I was born with kidney issues, I
Mm.
still in the back of my head have this little voice. It's like, well,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if you weren't fat, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
And it's because, you know, going into the hospital for a fucking kidney issue every single time. Because now, you know, like you were saying, every single time, like when you're in the hospital now, it's not just, oh, they give you, you know, your discharge papers with all your notes on it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have, you know, this portal on your phone. So every time somebody enters or exits your room, you get a notification on your phone that says, oh, you have new notes about yourself.
Yeah.
And every single person that exits the room is like, patient is 35, dark hair, dark eyes, and morbidly obese. I'm sorry, trigger warning, but morbidly obese. Like every single one of them, it's like, I'm not here for that, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not here for that. Like,
Yeah. And I think this is super hard to talk about because we have not gotten into medical stuff on the podcast.
I know.
We've talked about it a lot and wanting to, but it is a topic that we're gonna need to bring some professionals on to just talk for us because it is triggering. That's why I'm laughing. No, I'm so sorry. I'm literally like panic about it.
No, it's
because
okay.
it really is one of those things that people will just come for your neck. As a fat person, if you talk about health and being healthy and health at every size, people are ready to decapitate. Like they are
100%.
coming for your neck.
They tell you that you're literally you're basically telling people that it's okay to be an addict. It's okay to be, oh, well then why don't you just tell people to be an alcoholic? Tell people that it's okay to smoke cigarettes, whatever.
Is the craziest argument against me because I'm like, yeah, no, I literally don't eat food. You know, like I don't know what you're looking for me here. So I it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Tell me if I'm wrong. This is going to be one of those moments where I do what my therapist does. So I'm really sorry that I'm doing this to you. Tell me if I'm wrong, but sometimes I feel you get stuck ruminating because it's black and white. You went from, I'm bad bitch Ally, and I love myself, and I show up, and I advocate for myself, and this is the space I live in. And then something happens that puts you back to before bad bitch Ally, and you have a hard time letting those two people coexist together in one Ally. Oh, I love you. I love you so much. And I really think they can both exist.
Yeah.
I think you can be sitting in the hospital being like, these people really just hurt me. And they hurt a version of me that I've been working on healing. And that's why it's landing. And I'm okay to sit in this hurt, knowing that this doesn't pull me back there. And it also doesn't define me. You know? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to, even ruminating doesn't need to define you. Sometimes I think ruminating is a part of processing.
It's hard. It's hard because like
I'm like, you could have stopped there. It's hard.
it's hard.
It's just hard.
It's hard because I do, and then I'm hard on myself for ruminating. I'm just gonna keep playing footsie with you.
No, I like it.
I'm hard on myself for ruminating. I'm like, you gotta let it go, Allie. But like, my brain literally doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, oh, you gotta let it go out. Like, my brain just doesn't.
Yeah.
My brain is literally wired, right? And then I have these like imaginary like arguments in my head.
Yes, I love these.
But like I do, but like I have these imaginary arguments in my head with like people who have in my life, right? Who constantly have told me to let things go when they still judge me for someone that I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
Right? But like I have to let things go, and like there's just a lot of shit that's happening in my life right now. Like there's a big family event coming up that I am not invited to, and like it's not something that like it's my niece's. Like it's something for my niece, and it's like
It's important to you.
it's important to me. It's very important to me. And like that's coming up, and I feel like everything is just out of control right now. So I think that like part of my not eating
Yeah,
is
it's
like
control.
it is. It's the only thing I can control.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can control. And yeah, like I'm just noticing like yes, it absolutely started after the hospital because it was like
Huge trigger.
it was just, you know, all
Feeling
these
like
people,
shit. Yeah.
literally all that those notes said to me was as soon as these people walk in the door, all that they see is a fat person.
Yes.
They don't care. All they see is a fat person. They do not care. Like,
Now, I also want to say for Allie, because this has been brought to my attention by medical providers, and medical providers who work with health at every size, that they will put things in the notes that they did not talk about just to cover their backs legally. So I had an experience with a sleep doctor, and I went and he started talking to me about losing weight, and I said, hey, I'm not really interested in this conversation. Told him that I was in recovery for an eating disorder and everything. And then he put in my notes that we had a full discussion about how important it is to lose weight and exercise. And I was like, we didn't have this conversation. And Taryn was like, no, you need to call them back and tell them to remove that from your notes. I was like, wait, really? And she was like, absolutely.
yeah,
It's not okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily I was still in Renfrew at the time, but I did not know my weight. I was on blind scales, and I opened up my notes. I told them to not put anything in there, and they put all of my information in there.
Yeah.
And I blew my top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not great. You know, I don't know if this is a conversation we can fully fledge out today, but it is a thought that I have when this comes up. But I feel like we need to start finding ways to work with your brain instead of you trying to fight against your brain.
Yeah.
If I think about this from a safer place for me, like dyslexia growing up, I was a horrible reader in school, especially like history, like those books, the context, the words, it was too much for me. So I can't change my brain. Like I'm dyslexic, you know? I can't fight my brain to seeing the words on the paper the same way. So I got audiobooks. I listened to YouTube videos, right?
Yeah.
I talked to my teachers being like, hey, please don't call me to read in class. Let me listen, because that's how I learn.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm almost like, okay, if your brain needs to ruminate, to process, how can we make that a positive thing and not a negative thing? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be easy as like, oh, we found an idea.
Right.
But I do think it's something that I feel like when you start to feel like it's coming from everywhere, you just pile on yourself being like, I can't get my brain to work the way I want it to.
Yeah.
But your brain is trying to tell you the way it wants to work. Oh, sorry, Rebecca. I hit the microphone.
I like how
We
Rebecca
know-
is always here.
100%.
Rebecca is always here. Like, sorry, Rebecca.
I'm really sorry.
I didn't wear my bracelet, Rebecca.
Yeah. Okay. While we're talking about Rebecca, I'm gonna adjust my ice pack because that one side was starting to get a little too. Oh. We're back. My back hurts so bad.
Listen. And see, okay, so this is where, like, this is like the level of where these people just sink into me, right? It's
Yeah.
like as soon as you like start talking about like your back and your back hurts so bad in your eyes, I'm like, in my head, I'm like catastrophizing. I'm like, they're gonna say, oh, she just hurt her back because she's fat, and I'm gonna be really mad about that.
Listen, I actually am glad this is coming up for me and you.
Yeah.
Because I do think this is something that has come up in our friendship. It's not that I don't care that there's YouTube videos of us out.
I know.
I just am choosing to not engage because it doesn't serve me anymore. You know, I'm aware that people are going to say I hurt my back because I am fat and my back hurts because I'm fat. And if that's their reality, that's their reality.
Mhm.
But I can promise you, I didn't even go see my normal doctor. I went to urgent care and my weight did not come up a single time.
Yeah.
They didn't even weigh me.
Yeah.
It might be something in my chart because I went like atrium. But no, it was a fantastic experience beginning to end. And he said, I'm really sorry. I've hurt my back a lot, so I know how much this sucks. And it sounds like you just slept funky. I was like, lucky me. You know what happens? You get a stiff neck sometimes. You know? You hurt your shoulder. You hurt your hand when you're sleeping. Like, it happens. And
I
there...
feel like these people are making me fat phobic.
Listen, we all have our own fat phobia.
Oh yeah.
Right?
100%.
There...
And we've talked about that before,
For
right?
sure.
Like we've talked about for you, like how like there's a lot of places where, you know, some dark corners where internalized fat phobia still lies.
Yes.
And like the more that I'm just processing all of this and listening as you're talking and everything, I'm like, because their voices are in my head so much, it's like I don't feel this way, but it's like I want to protect us from them. And so my first instinct is like, you know, well, don't give them anything that they can say is this, and this. And then so that's making me like inherently fat phobic. And that's pissing me the fuck off.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And listen, Ally, I think the biggest thing for you to work on right now is just letting all of the thoughts coexist. You're just fighting them all so much. Let them exist. Listen, I went to the doctor and I went, oh my gosh, I hurt my back because I'm fat. I did. Of course I did. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Right? It was a fleeting thought. It still exists. I let it exist. And I also gave myself more facts of the situation.
Yeah.
Me telling myself I hurt my back because I'm fat, that's an emotional response.
Yeah.
When the fact of the matter is, I slept wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And even worse, it was probably because Lucky. He's been moving sides of the bed.
Yeah.
And there was one night I just didn't want to move, so I slept like curled awkwardly sideways for him. I love my dog too much. I let my dog take over the bed. You know? So, listen. It's okay. It's okay.
I do that to myself though. Like literally everything I I still have this like this voice in my head that's like, well, maybe it's because you're fat.
Yeah.
Like I have this like little fat phobic little monster inside of me.
Do you know where it comes from?
I don't, but I like it's like I'll be 100% honest. Like there is a part of me that's like that during that shoot yesterday that was like, well, maybe if you weren't fat, you wouldn't have gotten overheated and chugged so much water that you threw up.
Yeah, no, girl.
Yeah.
Those are emotional thoughts, because the reality is, hey, Allie, if you would have woke up this morning and ate a full breakfast and maybe packed a Gatorade and some snacks, you would have been feeling like a bad bitch ready to stand on your feet and sweat your ass off for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But instead, you came with the 40 ounces of water and no food in your system, and we're going to fuck you up.
And the crazy thing is, like, I don't feel that way about other people.
Yeah.
I would never, like, if you got up there and you got sick during the shoot, I would assume that was because there was something actually wrong with you.
Yeah.
Right? But like, oh, Alyssa's sick. Right? It would never be because, oh, it's because Alyssa's fat.
Yes.
Right? But here I am, like, oh, it's because I'm fat.
Yes.
I'd never give that grace to myself.
Yes. Hear my full thought, because at first I don't think it's going to come out right, but you need to listen to the thought. When it comes in and the idea comes in, oh, I'm sick because I'm fat. Don't push it away. Don't argue. Don't agree with it right away. Just listen to it. Where is this coming from? Why did this come up? Right? Ask questions. Be curious about it. And then try and bring in some logic. You know? Because we can both agree that that's an emotional response. Right? The logic, if the logic came in right away, it would have been like, oh, I didn't eat this morning.
Right.
Right? And then you would have to listen for the emotional part, because, well, why didn't I eat this morning? So I think it's just stopping for a second and being like, okay, this thought is coming in. It's loud, it's strong, it's powerful. Why am I having this thought? Is it true? No, but it feels true. Okay, then what is the truth? What are the facts? Right? And that's how you start living in the gray, I think. And that's how you stop arguing with your brain. You say, yes, and. Yes, I feel this way. Right? Yes, I feel this way. And this is not scientifically true.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, I emotionally feel like if I wasn't fat, I would never hurt my back. That's not scientifically true.
No.
There are plenty of small people who throw out their back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hurt their back. I didn't throw out my back. I should stop saying that. I hurt a disc in my back. I did ask the doctor, though. I said, is this what it feels like when people throw out their back? And he goes, yes. It is. And I said, I'm too young for this. And he said, you are.
Well, see, and that's the funny thing. It's like literally like after I got sick, Colleen, the owner of Snow Country Outerwear,
Who's amazing.
She's amazing.
Literally
She's
amazing.
Like I literally
They
can't
have
say
such a great team of people.
I can't say enough about Snow Country Outerwear. By the way, Haley is her daughter. Haley and Max, both her kids, are just incredibly amazing. I absolutely love them. Working with them on set, I can't wait for you to work with them.
I'm
They're
excited.
incredible.
Yeah.
But Colleen, like literally right after I got sick, she's like, "Oh my God, I was in Italy and I got so sick," and it's like. And Colleen's like the tiniest little thing, and she's like, I get sick, we all get sick, right? And you're so right, like, and I'm like the fucking queen of yes and, right?
I know you are.
I can say it all day long, but like sometimes I think I'm just like a fucking liar, because my brain is so black and white. That is one of the very like the like cardinal like rules of borderline personality disorder is like very much you just thrive in black and white, and it is very, very, very hard to live in a gray area and to find the gray areas. And so like that is a daily battle for me, and it's hard. It's hard to find the gray areas. It's hard to find it's hard to let everything live in the same space.
Yes.
But I'm trying.
Yeah. And I think too, like, doing these things on your own is not easy, right? Like, I'm lucky enough to have therapy to work through these things. So I think when you find yourself being like black and white thinking, label it, text it, call it out, call me, we'll talk through it, right? I think sometimes you're just so quick to be like, I have to stay true to like where I'm at now, that you're not honoring everything, like the journey and the path, right? And that you You are not just one-sided. You are a whole person. You're a whole person.
Yeah.
And it's okay for the Ally growing up who hated herself, you know, to still have needs and wants and feelings.
Yeah.
And it's okay to listen to her and let her feel safe, you know? Ooh, sorry. That's my cow. She said moo moo.
I do genuinely think that is something I am still learning, because that was something I truly lacked, was having any kind of a safe space to explore my emotions growing up at all.
Yeah, but look where you are now.
Yeah.
This room, safe space. The internet, not so much, but I'll come for you. We all know that's not true. Ally will come for you.
Oh, man. I will.
She will.
I will. I'll
Don't
cry.
be fooled.
I'll cry about it later, but I will come for you.
Honestly.
Period.
How long have we been going? I feel like that's how we should end the episode.
No, period.
Honestly, I'll cry about it first, but I'll still come for you.
I'll ruminate about it later, but
Oh my God, so funny.
Well, I appreciate you talking through this with me.
Oh my gosh, of course. And I want to say too, this, I forgot we were recording. Like, this was exactly like our conversations on the couch.
I told you, that's what I wanted it to be.
Good. Well, I will say this, and we don't have to, Rebecca, we can, you know, those were my scissor fingers cutting. We don't have cut this part. But like, if you start listening to, and some of it's like a little too much, I'm like, we're cool with pulling any part. So, you know, you're a bad bitch. And you are also an emotional person.
I'm a bad bitch and a sad bitch.
Ooh.
I can be both.
I'm a bad bitch who cries.
Oh
well,
God.
guys, I'm going to go lay back down because I'm starting to feel a little nauseous from this back pain.
Well, we're fat.
We're fab. And we're friends. Oh, excuse me. And we're friends.
And we're friends.
We're friends. Rebecca's gonna... Looks me like, fuck you guys. But you know what? We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.